Welcome to Builder 411. I'm your host, Mike Eccles, and today we're going to cover how to wire in light switches. This could be a dimmer switch, single prong switch. I'm not going to cover three-way switches today. Most applications, you're going to have just a single pole switch, maybe a dimmer switch, some of the new Wi-Fi switches. We'll talk a little bit about those. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. I'm your pro builder, Mike Eccles, and here on Builder 411, I'm here to help educate you into the process, the materials, and the skills that you need to have a successful project. And today we're going to talk specifically about how do you wire in a light switch. Maybe you have problems with a light switch. It's broken, it's not working. Maybe you want to take out that old light switch and just put in a new one, and you want to change that out with a different type switch. Maybe you want to put a dimmer switch in there. All those applications we're going to cover in this video, but I want to start out with a safety message. If you're not 100% sure what you're doing when it comes to electrical, please pick up the phone and call a professional. It's not worth your health or damage to your property. I want to start by talking about this tool right here. And all this is an electrical tester. It allows you to test to make sure that that circuit is dead and that you're not going to get shocked. These things cost like $5 at any of your big box builders like Lowe's or Home Depot's. Just go in there, go in the electrical section. It may not be this specific brand. I'll leave a link in the description for this specific one that I use. But what this allows you to do is to touch each side of that switch with one of these leads. And if this light comes on, then you know that's still hot. Why is that important? Hopefully that's obvious. We don't want to get shocked. And so a lot of times when you go into that breaker box and you're trying to disconnect and figure out which one of those breakers shut off that circuit to that room, you don't know for sure. You think you got it, but then you come out here and you touch that switch and it shocks you. You don't need those type of surprises. So if you're going to do this, just pick up one of these little handy switches. Again, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below. Now in this application, this test, this obviously is a new construction. It gives me a better way to explain the process and what's going on in there so you'll know when you're having problems, how to kind of diagnose those problems and work through those. So why would you be replacing a switch? Most cases it's because it's bad. And the light's not working, you went and done all those things, you went and put a new light bulb in, it's still not working, you changed the light out, it's still not working, and so now you've left to the fact you believe it's this particular switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our breaker box and we're going to try to figure out which one of those breakers control this specific light switch. That's very hard sometimes. That's where this tool comes in handy. So we have it unscrewed. Now they come with a cover. I have the cover right here. So I took the cover off of it and I've undone these two little screws that hold it in. And I'm going to show you a blow up of that in a second. If you look right now, you can see I'm blowing it up, but those screws is come out of that box. So now that we have this whole switch exposed, what we can do is take our tester and hold it where we can see it, and we put one lead on the bottom, one lead on the top. As you see, there's no light there. There's no light coming in either one of those sources right there. So now we know that there's no electrical to that box. That's the very first thing that we got to do. So now you see I've repositioned that camera so you can see the shot a little bit better. This is my tester. It's my little handy tester right here I'm using. And I'm putting one lead on the bottom of that switch, one lead on the top, and I don't have any light coming on there, as you can see. If I did, then I would want to go back inside to my breaker wall and I would want to determine and keep messing with those breakers, shutting them off one at a time until I got all the power off out here. Once I got all the power off out here, then I would just take my screwdriver and I would unscrew these two black wires. And you got to be a little forceful with them, but we're going to unscrew those. And we're also going to unscrew this ground because we want to put a new switch in. Okay, so we have those off. Now what we want to do is take and clean that up a little bit so we can put our new switch on. Now what you have here in this box, let me clean this up just a little bit. What you have in this box is inside here, there are 2 white wires wired together with a wire nut. Those are considered your open wires. Then you have a feed wire and a return feed wire. So one of these are going to be the hot wire coming in from your feed. The other one's going to be going back out to your light and then your ground. So if you want to put a dimmer switch on, it's very simple. You just get you a couple yellow wire nuts like I have right here. Just a couple yellow wire nuts. And that dimmer switch is going to come with 2 black wires. You just straighten these wires out right here and you wire black to black and your ground to the ground. And that will allow you to put a dimmer switch in there. If you wanted to put a Wi-Fi switch in here at this point in time, you could basically do the same thing. If I wanted to put a Wi-Fi switch in here, I could do the same thing right now with a Wi-Fi switch. Is I could just take this wire, this black wire and this black wire. That Wi-Fi switch on the back of it is going to have 2 black wires, and I take the yellow wire nuts again and I wire it to this black one and this black one and this. You can actually use your phone to turn the lights on in the room if you have that app for that specific one. So they're kind of neat devices. And where you would really use these is like in a front room. You can also do a motion light. If you like have a closet, you could put a motion light in that closet. So when you walk into your closet, that light would come on. The motion of your body turns that light on, and then after so many seconds of no motion in that room, it shuts it back off. So you can get very creative with switches. Just go to any of your big box retailers and you can look through and decide what you want. Do you want a motion switch? Do you want a dimmer switch in there? Or do you just want a regular light switch back into that socket? So we're gonna act like maybe you had a bad switch and all you want to do is you went and picked up another single pole switch and you want to install that switch. It's real simple. You just take 1 black lead and you put it on the bottom. I crimp it a little bit with my tool to try to bring it all together. It's kind of hard to see it in a video. And then I'm going to take my screwdriver, flat blade screwdriver, and I'm going to tighten that wire on there. Now some people say, well, which one goes where? It doesn't matter. You can put either one of these blacks on the bottom or on the top. It doesn't matter which one goes where, just as long as you have a black wire on there. We're going to go and put the second wire up on the top. We're going to do the same thing as we did with the other one. And once again, taking our screwdriver and tightening that down on there. Now on the very bottom here, you can see there's a green nut. There's a green screw here. That is where the ground goes. You need to put that ground on there because if anything ever should happen, you don't want to be electrocuted. So you want that ground on there. I'm trying to keep my head out of the way so you can see this. And then I screw it down with my screwdriver. And there you have it. Now the only thing you have to worry about with these is on the very top of the switch, one says off. You can't see it in the camera, obviously. And on the bottom says on. Make sure you don't have that switch sitting in there like this, because the off is on the bottom right now, and that's incorrect. The off is going to be at the top. You'll actually see the letter off right there. And when you can see the letter, that means that's which way the switch is. So even though it's down right now, you can see it says off. That means it's off. So make sure you get it in there right. Then you're going to come in here and you're going to kind of fold all that back together. So now what I've done is I put the screws that come with it back into that box. I run that up snug. While I was there, I went ahead and I bought me a brand new plate, and I'm going to put me a new plate on, and I'm done. First and foremost, buy you one of these. These are like $5. One of them little testers. I will leave you a link to it in the description. You got to have one of these if you're going to do that, because you just don't know whether that's off for sure, whether that light switch is off for sure when you're replacing it. The great thing about light switches is you can do some experimenting. Let's say that now that you know how these things wire in, it would be real easy to go in your front room and put a motion sensor in there, or you could do a Wi-Fi switch in there. These switches do cost a little bit, but they're great for specific rooms. For example, in my closets that I do, I like to put motion sensors in there. So that way when you're going into the closet, a lot of times you have clothes in your hands you're trying to hang up and stuff, and it's hard to turn the switch on. But if you have it on a motion sensor, as soon as you walk in that closet, the light comes on. You can hang your clothes up. When you leave there in a few seconds with no motion in there, it goes off. Some great gadget switches out there. Experiment, look around, go to Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those big box stores, and you'll see you got plenty of options. I hope that you found this video informative and that it educated you into the process of how to fix a switch. Many times that's all it is. The light really is working, but those switches, they do go bad. Come back now, you know how to replace them. Let me wrap up with this, that I hope that you found this video informative. If you did, share me some love, hit the like button. The great thing about switches, you have options there. And now, if you get a light that's not working, the best place to start is in the switch, because that's where it lies most of the time. Until next time, I'll keep teaching, you keep building.